So I want to ask you a question about Trap Regret and
What up, dog?
what's good. So what was the Well, I don't want to say it like that because in the song you can hear the inspiration
Right.
and the story, the video. The video tells the story. But you obviously put a lot of thought into it,
Yes.
and wanting to show, that story.
Right. So
What was, why now?
why now?
What's going on? Where did
So-
this all come from?
So 2020 marks 10 years since I've not sold any drugs by the grace of God, man. 2020
Word.
marks 10 years since I've went legit. Everything I do now is legal, running my own business, and I thought it was important to tell this story because I think they'll hear a lot of the faith messages, the faith-based messages. They'll hear about prosperity, but it's like, as a Christian, as a believer, we have to tell people like how we got there. A lot of times we have these songs and these nuances, but we're not telling people how we got there, man. So about 10 years ago, 2010, I graduated from Marion High School. I'll never forget, man. I thought I was going to go to college actually for football because I had scholarships to D2, D3, not D1. I wasn't that good, but I'll never forget. It was the year 2010, and I heard about the school called Full Sail University. It was this art school, and it was dope. And so I decided to ask my mom, "Hey, let's go on a visit." And so I'll never forget, man. We came to Florida, and I absolutely fell in love. I just knew it was the place I was supposed to be at. I knew it was the place that God wanted me at. I remember that night we came back from the visit because we drove there. We didn't fly. We didn't have money, man. So we took that, 18 hours. It was crazy. And my 1991 Caprice Classic with a hole in the floor. I'll never forget. Dude, I remember I had a quarter pound of marijuana in my... It doesn't matter if it was a half quarter pound. It doesn't matter. I remember we had got back from Florida. We was at the house, and I remember getting in my 1991 Caprice Classic. I was going to my friend's house because we was going to break the drugs down mathematically to sell them or whatever. And I'll never forget, I was at a red light, and I was texting. And so I was about to make a left turn on McKenzie, I think. And, bro, I dropped my phone, and I almost hit a pole. Cops coming. I just knew. I'm like, yo, no. I'm like, this is it, bro. I'm not going to college. Like, this is it. I got a quarter pound. I got a quarter pound of marijuana. I'm like, this is it. I pull over. The cop, it was really kind of really divine, man, because he comes to the window. He asked me to get out the car. Like, he didn't tell. Obviously, I was swerving trying to pick my phone up. Obviously, that's why he pulled me over. So he put me on the passenger side of his car. As a cop, that's not protocol. You're not supposed to do that. So he's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "My name is Aaron McFadden." He's looking me up for warrants or whatever. And so all of a sudden he stops and he says, "Aaron McFadden." He's like, "Wait, you're that running back. You go to Marion?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's me." And I'm just like, bro, in the inside, I'm so relieved, but on the outside, I'm sweating. My head, I'm so nervous at this point. He's like, "So where you coming from?" I'm like, "Man, it's late. I just came back from Florida." He's like, "Oh yeah, you going to play football there?" I'm like, "No, I'm actually going to go there for music." And he wished me the best. He said, "You know what, man? I'm just going to give you a warning tonight, bro." Man, that night, I remember sitting in the car, and I asked God, I said, "God, if it's meant for me to go, if it's meant for me to go to Florida, I'll never touch drugs again. If you let me go to college and you let me graduate, I'll never touch drugs again." Bro, ever since that night of 2010, I couldn't tell you the exact night, I've been drug free. I've been clean, bro. I don't even deal with drugs anymore. I lost a lot of friends to, selling drugs, drug overdoses and things like that. And that was the moment, that was the turning point where my life turned, and here we got it, Trap Regret, man. And that's pretty much where the story comes from. So it's crazy how, you could be living a double life, because back when I was in high school, I lived with my auntie and my uncle. They was pastors. I was going to church 3 times a week, but on the side, nobody knew, bro. I was selling drugs. Nobody knew.
Damn.
So it's like on the pew Sunday, you know what I'm saying? And Monday it was back to trapping. Like, I know what it's like to live a double life. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to want to be close to God, but you feel like you can't because you've condemned yourself to the point so much where it's like God can't use somebody like me. Like, I'm a drug dealer, or you know, or I'm addicted to porn, or maybe I did crack. Whatever your addiction is, it doesn't matter. Just don't be trapped by regret. We all have regret. Just don't be trapped by regret. And that was a long answer, man. But that's pretty much the message of the song. And we're doing pretty good. We released the video with Young JC that hit over 50,000 in a week. Like that,
hey.
The engagement has been crazy. Like, people are really sharing the story, and I was kind of afraid to put the song out because it's not your typical, I guess, like Christian song or whatever. And so the support has been crazy.